Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another Stardew Valley Community Let's Play. We are now on day number 5 and things are going to be ramping up very quickly. We're going to start by watering up the crops here. We have some carrots. We also have an assortment of spring crops that we got from Pierre over the past couple of days, and we need those for some of the community centre bundles. We have one chest currently filled up with lots of useful items that we're going to be using a lot sooner rather than later. Because today is day number 5, that means we can trigger the cutscene to get Mayor Lewis to allow us into the community centre to interact with the bundles. And all we have to do to activate that cutscene is to leave from our farm and go back into Pelican Town after 9 o'clock. Before we do that, we're going to go for a nice stroll to see if we can grab some forageables, get some hoeing spots and talk to a few people before that event kicks off. Level 3 foraging is an absolute game changer and I really wanted to get this before we get another potential rainy day. Level 3 foraging allows us to make the cookout kit. So we can use that to make a dish of the sea, and if we can get a fishing skill of 7 today, we can use that dish of the sea to push our fishing skill up to 10 for a potential early legend catch. Now I had a quick look at the chest up here by the lake. There was some chops inside, some carps, some foraging. There was also a lot of river jellies as well. All we need now was some cave jellies and sea jellies, and I know I keep going on about the sea jellies, but we really need them. If we want to do a very powerful spring, we absolutely need the fish smoker. Now before I headed away, I noticed another hoeing spot there. I got some stone from it. I don't really care what I'm getting from the hoeing spots. What I really want is foraging XP, and each hoeing spot that you activate gives you 15 foraging XP, which is huge. That's almost equivalent to what you're going to get from cutting down a tree, and the amount of energy and time that you're using up is far less. There was also a help wanted quest today as well. I had a quick look. Caroline was looking for the seaweed. You know what? We might actually oblige. Caroline does give the recipe when she reaches 2 hearts to make a tea sapling. Tea saplings used to be absolutely broken, but they were nerfed when 1.6 came out. Concerned Abe reduced the value of a tea sapling from a whopping 500 gold down to 250 gold. Despite the fact that they're only 250 gold, they're actually still profitable. They're just not as powerful as what they used to be. Why he nerfed them, I'm not too sure. There's other things he could have nerfed as well. But look, we have the fish smoker, we have the bait maker. I'm not going to complain. As long as he doesn't nerf those, I'll be a very happy camper. We're going to take a trip down to the tide pool area right now. Hopefully we can get that sea urchin. And we managed to get super lucky today. We picked up the glass shards. We can donate those to the museum. That sea urchin is going to make a very lucrative spring for us. All we need now is 3 iron bars and we are golden. We can then pull up huge amounts of bullheads and largemouth bass up by the lake and reap the rewards. Now because it was Friday, that means Willie is open, so we're going to take a nice stroll down to Willie's and we're going to sell him all of the fishies that we just don't need right now. We also need to purchase bait because our bait is actually very low right now, so just to play it safe, we're going to get lots of bait. We're not going to get huge amounts of bait because very soon we will be able to make the bait maker and we will be able to use fish specific bait. But this amount of bait should be enough to see us through a nice profitable day of fishing up in the lake area. Now before we head up to the lake, we do have over 1,000 gold and we actually wanted that. That would allow us to purchase iron ores off Clint. We have 6 iron ores at the moment. That's enough for 1 bar. We're going to get 9 or 10 more pieces of iron ores now off Clint, so we can smelt up a total of 3 iron bars. Combine that with the coral and the sea urchin that we just got, we can then make the bait maker. So we're going to head into Clint. Now at this moment in time I wasn't too sure on exactly how much iron ores that I had, but I did know that I just needed 10 pieces. I really should have purchased 9 pieces there, but look, 150 gold isn't going to kill us. I'm pretty sure we can still have quite a lucrative spring even with that little mistake there. So we're now going to try to see if we can track down Caroline. At this stage in the game I really should have just pressed M, which would have brought up the map and it would have showed me where Caroline was. I just assumed she was inside Pierre's store there, but she actually wasn't. So I ended up wasting huge amounts of time going into the store looking for Caroline and she wasn't there. While I was here, I had a quick look at Pierre's inventory. I was thinking about selling him some things. I said there isn't really any point. All of the items I currently have in my inventory can be used as gifts. And the worst part was that even if I found a Caroline, I didn't have a seaweed on me. All of the seaweed was in a chest back on the farm. So it was just a huge waste coming in here. If this was any other sort of a spring challenge, mark my words, we would have been going straight for that reset. We're now going to make our way back to the farm and we're going to do a little bit of inventory management, decide what to take with us when we go up to the lake and do some fishing. The first thing we're going to do is activate this little community center cutscene here. So we now can access the community center, but we can't donate stuff to the bundles just yet. We will have to click on the bundle, look at the scriggly Junimo language, and then Rasmodius, the wizard himself, will send us a letter so we can go meet him, and then he'd give us a buff that allows us to read the bundles. So once that cutscene was finished with, we're going to head back to the farm and we're going to grab all of the items we need to head up to the lake. What we really want now are all of the iron ores needed to make a total of 3 iron bars. We want 3 pieces of coral and we want the sea urchin. It just means once the bars are finished, we can make the bait maker straight away. We also have our fiberglass rod and it's filled up with huge amounts of bait. So that's more or less all we needed. I had a quick look at the bait maker recipe to make sure I had everything. Now I'm not going to head up the short way, we're going to take the long way around because we're going to pop into the community center first to click on the bundle before we head up to the lake. And the reason why we're doing that now is because we want to get access to those bundles much sooner rather than later. I don't know if we're going to make it to the Desert Festival by the 15th, we will try our best, we're not really doing day resets here after all. But we will at the very least go into the community center and get those bundles activated. It's very important we do this as quickly as possible because once you complete, I think it's 2 or 3 bundles, you'll get access to the vault bundles, and then the big money grind happens, and that's where the bait maker and the fish smoker really come in clutch when it comes to making those huge bursts of money so you can make it into the Desert Festival. But that's not the only criteria we're going to have to meet here to do good Skull Cavern runs on the 15th, 16th and the 17th. We also want to get skill ups in mining and combat so we can get some good advantages there when it comes to making bombs and when it comes to dealing additional damage. So there's lots of little components at play, there's lots of things that we have to do to get to that level of readiness. The furnace was already up here, which was handy. There's no point making a second furnace right now. There will come a time where we'll be doing runs in the regular mines, we'll be doing Skull Cavern runs, and we're going to have stone and copper ore literally falling out of our pockets. When that time comes, then yes, we can make 5 furnaces, 10, 15, 20, how many furnaces we need to quickly smelt up bars to make more money. But for now, the one furnace will do the job. So we're going to spend the rest of the day up by the lake doing even more fishing. But guess what, folks? Tomorrow won't be a day of fishing, we're going to be going into the mines. So if you found these Let's Plays a little bit boring right now, this is just how I play the game. I can't help it. I need to play this way because if I don't end up with a powerful spring, I just get bored. It's just ingrained into my body right now, so I have to get my fishing done before I can enjoy the rest of the year. But it's going to pay off. And if you're copying what I'm doing, if you feel a bit burnt out from fishing, just listen to me for a second. Take a few deep breaths, okay? Keep doing the fishing. It's going to pay off. Because if you're copying me, what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting these huge surges of money. You're going to get your backpack upgraded, you're going to get your pickaxe upgraded to steel, you're going to get your axe upgraded, you're going to be going into Skull Caverns, and when you start getting hundreds and hundreds of iridium ores, maxing out your mining skill, and all of these things start happening, you're going to start getting huge adrenaline rushes. And it's going to really open up the game for you. So even if you're a beginner right now, even if you've never unlocked the Skull Cavern by day 15 before, just keep following along and just keep putting in the grind. It's going to pay off for you. And when you start doing all these early Skull Cavern runs, and when you start seeing the possibilities of what you can actually do in spring, it opens up a whole new avenue of how you can play Stardew Valley. It's just so worth it. So just trust me when I say, put in the grind, put in the hard work. It is absolutely going to pay off for you. As long as you have your fiberglass rod with plenty of bait, if you get bubbles, great, and if you're using the same game seed that I'm using, you should have these exact bubbles, so you should be able to cast in here and get tons of fish before these bubbles disappear. Now, what you're going to notice here is that I'm getting deluxe bait a lot more than regular bait. Deluxe bait is great. I'm not going to use it right now. I'm going to save my deluxe bait because it makes your fishing bar bigger. And if we can save a few pieces of deluxe bait for the rainy day when we go fight the legend, That fishing bar that becomes a little bit bigger will make all the difference. The legend is a very difficult fish, but it's not impossible, especially if you have an iridium rod and a trap bobber. That's more or less the next thing that we want to get now. So once we have our bait maker created, all of the money that we're getting will go towards a fish smoker, which will cost 10,000 gold. We'll only buy that though if we have the hardwood and all of the sea jellies. We also need 7,500 gold to purchase the iridium rod. The iridium rod has multiple functions that will greatly benefit us. Not only does it allow us to put tackles on it like dress spinners, trap bobbers, treasure hunters, things like that can add a lot of benefit to the fishing minigame. It also gives us access to a much greater loot pool when we're opening up treasure chests. That means way more money for us. And right now, the big money grind is on, but we also have to factor in skin ups when it comes to mining and combat. Our first iron bar was complete, so we're going to smelt up another one, and once those 3 bars are done, we can then make the bait maker. Now, it's now 4 o'clock. By the time all that is done, our window for capturing largemouth basses will be very, very limited. So instead, we'll fire a lot of low quality bullheads into the bait maker, get back some bullhead bait, and for the rest of the night then, we can prioritize fishing up bullheads. And the reason why we do this is because we don't want to get carps or chubs. They don't sell for a whole lot of money and they don't give huge amounts of fishing XP when you fish them up. The bullhead is fairly simple to perfect catch, unless you get a bit of a dodgy bullhead where it starts spurting upwards or downwards. But the majority of bullheads that we do get, we should be able to perfect catch without too much hassle at all. It just means a lot more fishing XP for us and a lot more money. There is a very good chance we will obtain a fishing skill of 7 today. If you take a look at the XP bar down at the bottom left, we still have a ways to go to get level 7, but you'll be very surprised, especially when you start chaining up lots of bullheads and when you start getting treasure chests and everything else, just how quickly it actually starts to go up. It's actually fairly easy to get level 7 with most of the skills. It gets very hard when you kind of get into the level 8s, the level 9s, the level 10s when XP significantly increases. If you really need money at this moment in time, just sell the fish that you're getting. If you don't need money, keep all the fish. Don't sell them. Wait until you get fishing level 10 and you will see a huge surge in money. Then, it all comes down to what you need money for. We're going to sell all these fish. We're not going to wait until fishing level 10. We're too far off it. Now, I ended up cancelling a couple of catches here just to relook at my inventory to see what I had. I still needed one more iron bar to make the bait maker. It was also very late at night when I was actually doing this, which was a mistake. So I ended up making a couple of mistakes. Sometimes it takes a lot of mental energy, physical energy to remain focused when you're doing the fishing minigame, especially when you're fishing for the whole day, because you have to cast in the rod, you have to wait until the fish nibbles, and you have to push down the left click, then you have to go through the minigame, and if you do that even during the day, if you do it for a couple of in-game days in a row, it can be very draining. That's why from my experiences, the best time to do the fishing minigame, or even like the best time to do a challenge run, is early in the morning after you've had a good breakfast. A good walk around the estate with the dog and a good shower. Then, your heart is pumping, you're nice and fresh, you can sit down, you feel good, and you can put all of your energies then into your Stardew Valley activities. And that's just kind of how I play the game, you know? I got very, very close to a quad XP catch right here. If I only positioned the green bar slightly more in the centre, that would have been a huge catch. It would have gotten me well over the 100 XP there for that largemouth bass. If you can chain up a few of those 100 XPs here and there, I mean, your fishing bar it shoots up to the roof, and before you know it, you got your fishing level 7, your fishing level 8, your fishing level 9, and you're just sorted. So we're not going to go back down home today. We're going to stay up here until we pass out because we only have 218 gold, and even if we didn't get a skin up today, it wouldn't matter. Because we have plenty of fish on us, we have plenty of stuff we could take for energy and health. If we go into the mines tomorrow and we wake up with a low energy bar, it still won't make a shred of a difference. All of the chubs that we get today we can use for energy, the carps that we get we can use for energy. If we want to get an early iridium rod, all of the bullheads and large basses we pull up, we can just sell those to Willy. Now, it's also worth noting that Willy closes on a Saturday unless it's raining. So because it's not going to be raining tomorrow, Willy is going to go to Cindersnap Forest, he's going to roam around the place, and he's going to do some fishing. You won't be able to sell fish directly to him tomorrow. So if you are playing through today like I am and you want to have money for tomorrow, make sure you go home before 2 o'clock and put all of the fish you got into your shipping bin. We don't really need to do that right now because we're going to the mines tomorrow, so we're just going to fish up here till we pass out. So we're just getting more of everything today. The copper ore is real nice, and we might buy more copper ore off Clint. We'll see how we get on to get a very early axe upgrade. The reason why you want to upgrade your axe as quickly as possible is to get your hands on some hardwood. Additionally, cutting open all those hardwood stumps and big hardwood logs is a great way to get more foraging XP. And if we can grab ourselves a steel axe before spring is out, we can get into the secret woods and we can get way more foraging XP inside there. Because the stumps regenerate every single day inside there. But also, when you fight slimes in there, there's a chance they will drop mahogany seeds. So you can get mahogany seeds, potentially, from breaking open the small hardwood stumps. You can also get mahogany seeds from killing the slimes. Now this is just a prime example of tiredness. I was trying to figure out where my third iron bar was. I opened my inventory again, checked my chest. I only had 2. I couldn't figure out what happened with my third bar. Where is it? Where is it? And it took me a while to realise that it's still in the furnace, smelting away. So when it comes to doing these unedited runs, you're going to see things like this, you know? You're going to see me forget things. You're going to see me leave things behind and having to go back and get them. You're going to see me looking inside chests, and I could be looking inside the chest for 5 or 10 minutes, but if that happens, I won't obviously leave that in. I'll just cut it down to 5 or 10 seconds. Other than that, yeah, full unedited footage. But the bait maker is now finally giving us back fish-specific bait. Now the real fun begins. Now, obviously, we're not going to be using the largemouth bass bait because it's gotten too late, but this is something we can use the next time we go fishing up in the lake. And you're going to see a huge difference in terms of how much fishing XP we bring in now on a daily basis because we managed to make the bait maker. The bait maker shines in the early stages, it also shines in the later stages. Eventually, if we wanted to, when we get to Ginger Island, we can bring this beautiful bait maker up to the summit, we can put in some lava eel bait, and then you're going to see some serious money. Once we're finished putting in the low quality largemouth bass that we're not really going to sell, we're going to start putting in bullheads. And then for the rest of the night, we're just going to fish up loads and loads of bullheads. The reason why I put the bait maker right down there, to the point where I couldn't actually move past it without using my hoe to pick it up, is because sometimes Sebastian will come down for the smoke. And if you put the bait maker or any machine a little bit up from where they are, when he's turning around to go back home, sometimes he will actually destroy your equipment if they get in his way. So just to play it safe, I put all my things right down there at the very bottom. All of the Stardew Valley villagers will show no mercy to anything that gets in their way. I have even seen Stardew Valley villagers walk straight through trees, obliterating them as they go past. What might be a very fun experiment would be to put down some trees and use some tree fertilizer. Find out a very specific path that a Stardew Valley NPC might make only maybe once in the season and that nobody else takes that path, and just set up a huge line of trees and just watch as they literally steamroll through every single tree. You won't get foraging XP for it, but you can pick up all of the resources that's left in their wake of destruction. We now finally have the bullhead bait. We're doing really well now, and we're not even past the first week in spring yet. This is why fishing is just so powerful. And if you take a look at our fishing meter at the bottom left, you'll see it pop up there now in a second when we capture another fish. We're actually very close now to fishing level 7. And that is a game changer as well, because the next time a rainy day comes around, all we will need is 7,500 gold for the iridium rod, make a dish of the sea, and we are good to go to head up to the lake here and put ourselves up a legend fish. If we have the fish smoker, we could smoke it for some quick funds. If we don't, we can always save up some resources and get Robin to make us a fish pond, and then we can use the fish pond for the rest of the playthrough. In terms of the playthrough, a lot of it will come down to, you know, how many views these videos get. It will come down to the general demand. Regardless of views right now, I will make you one promise. I will do this for one whole month. Okay? I'll do it up until the end of spring, even if these videos only get a few hundred views a pop. Once spring is finished, I'll then release a community post. We'll sit down and see if we continue it or not. I was really hoping for a Neptune's glaive today. 9 times out of 10, I generally get the glaive before I go into the mines because of the sheer amount of fishing I do up in the lake. Saying that, I didn't do huge amounts of fishing up in the lake this time around. We also spent a lot of time down by the beach to sell things to Willie, but also in the hopes that we were going to get a sea jelly, and we actually haven't gotten any sea jellies yet. Now, if we don't get a sea jelly via fishing, it's not the end of the world. There is a pretty good chance eventually we will get a book of power that will allow us to get fishing roe from the fishing treasure chests. We can trade that into Marcelo when he visits the valley, and that will give us back 3 sea jellies. So there's still other ways to get jellies, it just means that we have to give up on a potentially powerful fishing perk. But if I had to choose between that fishing perk and the fish smoker, I'm going to choose a fish smoker. As we can see now, because we're getting bullheads over and over again for the most part, our XP now is going up way faster, because bullheads give one of the best XP gains up in the lake area. And this is how you quickly get from the mid levels of fishing up to level 10, by constantly pulling up fish that yield high XP. And if you can perfect catch almost every single one of those fishes, it would be like getting double the amount of fish for the entirety of the day. That's why perfect catches is also so important. So we just got the level 7 there, and we have more or less 2 in-game hours left before we pass out. Now, we will spend a little bit of time going through the chests before we pass out, so that when we spawn at the farmhouse tomorrow, we can store items away in the chest down at the farm without making treks up and down all the time. We also have a good bit of different types of bait, which is great. I have my deluxe bait, which I might save now for a potential legend, hopefully in the next few days. We've got regular bait, and because we have the bait maker, we can now use fish-specific baits. You're probably absolutely sick of me saying the words bait maker, fish smoker. That will stop eventually when we start doing skull cavern runs. You're going to be hearing words like galaxy swords and bombs and how much I hate mummies. Until you get to Crusader enchant, and then mummies become a rainbow dream. They're just beautiful to kill, give lots of XP, and great rewards, such as cloth and everything else. But for now, we're up in the lake, pulling up lots of fish, making lots of money, getting lots of fishing experience. Unfortunately, we didn't get super lucky with any of the treasure chests. Sometimes luck can be on your side and you can get amazing things. I've done runs where I picked up iridium bands. I've got broken tridents, Neptune's glaives. But you know what I've never really got during a challenge run or any sort of run? The treasure chest, worth 5,000 gold. I gotten it maybe once or twice on other runs that I done way back when, but it is just so rare, and I know it has more or less the same spawn chance or a similar spawn chance to the likes of the Neptune's Glaive and Iridium Band and all that, but I think deep down as far as Stardew Valley code goes, there must be a higher chance for Neptune's Glaive and diamonds and things like that over the other things, because when you look at the amount of times I've pulled up Neptune's Glaive and diamonds and Iridium Bands and dinosaur eggs and all those kind of things, they must have a higher spawn rate than the likes of a treasure chest worth 5,000 gold. Even if you go to the wiki, and it gives you a huge list of items in around 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3, I don't think that can be right. But I could be wrong, let me know in the comments. It's just from my own experiences from going through spring over and over and over again. You tend to see trends that the average player might not pick up, because how many people out there actually play through spring over and over again, besides me? So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting things into my inventory that I want to have back on the farm, because when we pass out, obviously we're going to wake up on the farm, and having all those things in my inventory is going to save me a lot of time going forward and back managing items. Because I can't sell all that fish directly to Willie, what I can do is put all that fish into my shipping bin the very next day, so when we get to day number 7, we'll have loads of money to do whatever we want with. The big question is, will we have enough money to purchase an iridium rod? I'm not too sure, but if you take a look at the inventory there, you could probably do some maths yourself to see if we have the funds or not. We do have a lot of bullheads, and we have some high quality largemouth basses as well, so we'll just have to see when we get there. So that is another Let's Play done. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you very soon in the next one.